This is, of course, a direct experience and what I, in my life, have experienced when it comes to practicing self-compassion. It comes from a place of deep knowing when I say what I say of we are too harsh on ourselves. We put ourselves through so much of harsh, negative self-talk, expectations that are just beyond even something that we would expect for somebody else to do. And we just don't give ourselves a break and reassure ourselves that we're doing the very best that we can with the level of knowledge and skills that we have. I've had to practice this quite a lot in the past year and a half in opening my business. Meditation has played a really big role in highlighting how much of self-compassion I didn't give myself in my whole life existence, basically. And coming to this place where I am a lot more self-aware, I'm a lot more able to observe myself think, observe myself feel whatever I'm feeling, and also observe myself just taking action in the world. I'm a lot more able to be patient with myself. I'm a lot more able to talk to myself in a kinder manner and in a manner that I would my own best friend or even a stranger that I didn't know from a bar of soap. And when I do something that I feel like, okay, this has been probably the most dumbest thing I've done all day or whatever, I'm a lot more able to come back to a place of calling myself to order firstly, and then rectifying the situation and keeping it moving and not dwell on the issue of what it is that has been the error that I've done in a speedier manner versus before. I would hop on it, I would play it back in my head, I would look at ways I should have prevented whatever, which is obviously a human thing to do and something that you obviously would want to do in order to best learn whatever lesson that there is to learn from making that error. But at the same time, what I found that I was doing is just harping deeply on whatever it is that is wrong, beating myself up and just making myself just guilty a lot longer than I should in any of those situations. So between meditation, which gave me the opportunity to just sit and observe what are the things that I tell myself and the ways in which I tell myself whatever needs to be told, or the tone of just the conversation that happens within me. Also the being my own best friend and speaking to myself and giving myself the necessary support that I need from day to day and from moment to moment, regardless of what's going on, in a manner that is just nurturing and a lot more sisterly, has been very transformational in just my relationship with myself. And I see this transformation slipping into my relationships with other people, how I treat other people's mistakes or seeming mistakes that I'm picking up, seeing errors in other people, and just the level of judgment that I have for other people has dramatically gone down. I'm not saying it's gone. I still do find myself falling into the trap of judging and labeling and pinpointing things in other people that are not really mine to pick on, but that has dramatically gone down. And that's what self-compassion does. As much as it is an inner working within you, it's a forming of a better relationship with yourself. It's understanding of who you are in a much better way, in a way that is cultivating friendship and compassion and loyalty with yourself. The more that you do that and the more that you carry that energy, the more that it sips in, like I said, to relationships outside of you. You are a much more better person to interact with, and you're much more open to other people making errors because you yourself have now fostered a habit within yourself to show compassion for yourself. So giving it to somebody else and seeing what somebody else goes through in a much more clearer and objective way is where you would come from, rather than just pinning blame, just things that the other person should have, could have, and might or should have done, is something that you now gravitate away from. So yeah, that's been my experience with cultivating self-compassion and how I am seeing it not transform not only myself but everybody around me, the energy I carry, and the manner that I interact and the energy I exude with other people is a lot more healthier and a lot less combative. Yes, that is the word. Yeah, I hope that gives you a bit of also inkling as to what does this level of inner work entails. What are the gifts that it brings, even though it's uncomfortable, even though it is just shining light on areas of yourself that you wouldn't want to really touch on. But when you do touch on those areas, it has this multiplier effect when it comes to reaping the benefits. You not only reap it for yourself, you're not only reaping the benefits for shifting yourself to a better trajectory of being, but you're now affecting everybody around you, and the energy that you carry is a lot more inviting for people to come in and feel at home and feel like they don't have to be people that they're not, and for them to be their most authentic self without having to put on some sort of facade, because here you are, Miss Judge Judy, know-it-all, who is now going to chastise me for one error that I've made.